Hello and welcome to Community Clips, the show that features all the best that Lower Makefield Township has to offer its residents and its guests. I'm Ann Schreiber, your host, and today we stand at the Stoddart Baseball Fields, which will be rededicated to the Stoddart family. We are also dedicating this entire baseball complex to the memory of Greg Caiola, who was our township supervisor and also the former commissioner of the Pennsbury Athletic Association. We will be speaking to several citizens who knew Greg and who can speak to what a wonderful person he was, dedicating so much of his time and his heart to the township and to all he loved. We're with Janet Caiola, Greg's wife. Janet, tell us about some of your favorite memories of Greg.
Well, Greg and I met in college, so I have a lot of fond memories from those days when he was young and very involved in the college environment. And actually, he was manager of the radio station there. He had a love for music, and that is a very, very strong, fond memory of Greg. He also was a strong believer in community service. He was both at the college, he was very involved, and then later years for us when we bought homes in the towns that we lived in, and then when our boys were born and in the baseball programs, because Greg loved baseball. And I just have such fond memories of all his involvement of our children and involving them in everything that he did for all the causes he believed in the community. And they're just strong, positive, wonderful memories.
Thank you so much, Janet. We're speaking with Jordan and Ben Caiola, Greg's sons. Jordan, what made your dad so wonderful?
I think he was just an incredibly understanding person. I know when it came to pretty much anything, he had a knack for putting himself in other people's shoes, and that's probably one of the main things that I'll take with me in my life. He just really understood other people's circumstances without necessarily being in them. He just had a great heart for that, and community service was his top priority, behind family, which I think is one of the best things about him.
Tell us some of your memories of your dad.
He had a big role in my brother and my lives. He helped a lot with baseball. He was at every single game, coaching, supporting us on the sidelines. He had a great love for life as well. He loved the little things, friends, family, and I think that's what helped him become so involved in community and have such great effects on people.
Jordan and Ben Caiola, thank you so much.
Welcome to our dedication ceremony today. All this is possible because of the hard work of our committee that over the last 8 months spent a lot of time raising money to make this a reality, and at the same time in the last couple of months worked to plan for this day. So I want to thank them all very much, and in particular my co-chair, Township Supervisor Pete Stainthorpe. Pete,
thank you, everyone. It's great to see everybody here today. I had the honor and the privilege to serve with Greg for 6 years on the Board of Supervisors. And Greg was certainly a public servant first and a politician second. We came to know each other. We actually came to like each other. We worked together, and one of the projects we worked together on is right back here, these two new baseball fields. I came to have the utmost respect for Greg. He was a gentleman, he was a family man, he was a good citizen, and he eventually became a good friend. The last time that many of us were together was at Greg's funeral. And I don't think there's any such thing as a good funeral. But at this particular memorial service, his family did him well in showing all of the rest of us who didn't know him as well as they did what a kind, loving person he was, what a fine father he was, and how much they would miss him. Today's a little bit different. We don't have the cloud hanging over us of a recent passing. We don't have the same sadness. We're here to celebrate Greg's life, to honor him in the future, and while a sign is a small gesture, I think it will help to keep his memory alive, and that's something special. To the family and to all his friends, he was a good man, he was my friend, and I miss him. Thanks again for coming today.
Here's our state representative, Steve Santarciero, who was a good friend of Greg Caiola and who also served with him on the Board of Supervisors. What made Greg such a special friend, Steve?
Well, Greg was just a terrific guy who, cared about the community, cared about people. And he was just a real positive force for the community. And his passing far too early is a real loss for all of us. Yeah, and it's a fitting tribute for us to be dedicating, this park for him based on all of the work that he had done in the community and also for the local league. So we're very excited about that, and to rededicate these fields for the Stoddart family is a nice thing too. So it's hopefully a great day, and we've got a lot of folks here to celebrate. Thanks.
Thanks. We're here with Commissioner of the Pennsbury Athletic Association, Doug Kraus. Doug, tell us what made Greg Caiola such a wonderful commissioner himself.
Well, what Greg was very special to the organization. First and foremost, it was all about the kids and making sure that the kids have, the best experience on and off the field, and that's what made Greg very special. And he reinforced that with all the members of both the coaches, the executive board, and anybody that really came in contact with the organization. And he was a fine leader and made sure that over the course of not just the time spent here in Pennsbury, but I know in his time in Ewing and with his sons and all their friends, that it was all about the experience with the kids and making sure they had the best time. So that's really a special thing that he brought to the organization, and that one thing that I make sure it's all about the kids, and that's one thing I've learned from him, and making sure that our organization continues to focus on that.
Doug, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to, on behalf of my family, to thank everyone and just taking the moment a little bit and let you know how much it means to us to have this rededication. The first dedication, I was a 14-year-old. Hadn't played baseball here for many years. When we walked up, as we were walking down the pathway, I noticed there was a father out lining the fields. And it just brought me right back to Saturday mornings as a kid. We had this fence. It was an old fence that would roll up in the back of my father's wagon, and it had two strings that would wrap around. And he would come out and line the fields, and my job was to run the bases over and over and over and over again. And that reminder is that behind great communities, and this is a great community, is the people are the ones that make the great community. People such as my father and Greg Caiola and many other people that are probably standing right here on these fields right now. And it is a tribute to that. And being said that, it's great to have my children and my nieces here with us so they can understand the legacy. So when my wife and I and my brother-in-law and my sister, when we're overly involved in our children's lives and we're there at every single sporting event and we're there, it's not because we're nosy or overbearing parents, it's because we're trying to pay tribute to our parents. And that would be my mother and my father, who founded PAA at their kitchen table. And I was having this conversation with my wife on the way up. There was no answer machines, there was no internet. We had yellow legal pads that was always near the phone. And it was a great lesson for me as a young man to understand how the entire community had to come together in order for something like this to happen. Because the phone would ring and I would answer the phone, and it would be someone that wanted to sponsor. It would be someone that wanted to run a team. It would be someone who wanted to get involved in the league somehow. And if I did a decent job not misspelling their name and writing down the notes, then hopefully they were able to come forward and give. So it's many, many people that bring this community together, and my father would be unbelievably overwhelmed, not just at the fact that he's being honored, but at the fact that the baseball fields continue to expand, the snack bar and everything continues to expand. So his dream just kind of continues to live on through all of the people out here. So again, thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to invite any of the family members to come up and say a few words if they wish. I know, Janet, you'd like to?
Hi, everybody. We just wanted to express on behalf of my family how delighted we are with this day. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody that Greg loved baseball. He grew up playing baseball. His father coached his teams. He played well into college, and I think played his first semester or his first year of college at the College of New Jersey on the baseball team there. His heart was in it. The other thing about baseball that Greg loved, he really thought there was so much value in the sport, and it taught so many incredible skills to individuals and young players. And when Greg was 15, the team he was on won a state championship. It's a really fond memory that he shared with us many, many times, and the stories. But one of the highlights of it was that once they won that, he traveled with his family that summer, regional league, to continue all the games. And what they did was the players would stay in the homes of the other players, which was really interesting. So you got to see the other side and your what's the word? Opponents, thank you, in a new light. And there were friendships built. And then when they brought that to the field, it was a whole different, I think, approach to the game, and the sportsmanship really stood out. Greg's mom is proudest of the fact that Greg won a sportsmanship award. Greg would have liked to have won league MVP, but that's okay. Greg's sons went on to do that and also won a sportsmanship award too. So he was very proud of them. In later years, once his boys were born, it was his absolute joy to share the sport with them and his love. And fortunately, they loved it too. I don't know if they had the choice, but they really did. He adored coaching them, being involved in the sport, gave his heart to it, and he was, as I think Steve and Doug mentioned, he was an incredible coach because I think he was understanding, he was not critical, he was supportive, encouraging, but he also believed in the fundamentals and that everybody had something to learn. And he also impressed upon all the players how important their role was collectively as a team and that it was no one individual. When we came here and we began involvement in PAA, the boys really thrived. Greg loved the league and went on to be involved as he was with both the township and the baseball league. I think there's an adage that says, which Greg really, I think, epitomizes, to whom much is given, much is asked. And that's what Greg believed in. He really believed in community service. It was in his heart. It was just something that just flowed naturally from him. And I also think it was important to him to represent to his boys the importance of that, the giving back. And he did. He was an incredible role model for the boys, for us. He would be delighted by this, but he also would say, "You're making too big a deal." We don't believe that. Either do you. We can't be more thankful for what you've done. It absolutely gives us chills. I pass this field every day on my way to work, and I'm telling you to see that sign. Thank you all so very much. Thank you.
Figure out who these guys were?
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. It's good. They were coaches and they cared a lot about making sure you guys have fun and learn a lot. And you have to remember that, okay?
Thank you for watching Community Clips on this beautiful sunny day. A perfect day to remember how exceptional a man Greg Caiola was. We'll see you next time.